Free gift before we get into today's killer episode. We have a free full fat loss guide available for you. So go ahead and grab that. Message me on Instagram, fat loss guide. So we got an incredible episode planned for you today. We're going to be talking about how to break through a weight loss plateau so you can lose fat once and for all. Now, in this episode, there's going to be some assumptions that you understand how to lose fat and how to actually be in a deficit. And if you don't know that, that's totally okay. I have a free accompanying guide. It's a total free full ebook on how to actually lose fat. This is our fat loss guide. Kyle spent hours and hours prepping it together. It's literally everything you need to know about fat loss, how to be in a deficit, how to maintain that deficit. So if you haven't grabbed that, I would definitely recommend grabbing that and looking at it, because that will further help you with some of the more advanced things we'll talk about in this episode. So go ahead, grab that. But now we'll jump into the episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and Most of All Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we got a killer episode. We're going to be talking about weight loss plateaus. And it's funny, I had an episode planned that kind of mirrored this. I didn't even see Kyle's episode. And I said, do more people need to get lean, or do more people need to break through a plateau? I'm like, I don't know if a lot of people are actually in plateaus. And he said, I think a lot of people are in imaginary plateaus. And I just thought that was so well said, because you might even be listening to this, and truth be told, we might make you a little bit of uncomfortable with some of the realizations you'll have, but you might think you're in a plateau for the wrong reasons, because you're not doing enough cardio, or you're not doing enough abs, you're not having enough vegetables, when there might be something major you're missing. And we really design these points to acknowledge all those different things. So there are different plateaus, and it could be for you being stubborn. It could be for you misapplying effort. It could be for you overlooking something in your journey. But we're going to give you everything you need to make sure you're on a consistent schedule to lose weight and build towards the physique you want. So what's your first tip, Kyle?
The first thing is actually finding out if you are in a true plateau. And the reason I have to talk about this is because I find when I have conversations with people who say, hey, the scale's stuck, or I'm not seeing any progress, or I'm not seeing any weight loss, when I actually have a deeper conversation with them, they're truthfully not in a plateau. Maybe the scale went up one day, or maybe they're feeling like they've gained a bit of weight. It might be a mindset thing, but once again, there are plateaus, don't get me wrong. And typically this will be a couple week period where you're calculating the average weigh-ins and it's not going down, and we have to make some changes, which we will be talking about shortly. But when it comes down to it, I find even having a discussion with someone, they'll be weighing in once a week. Let's say they weigh in at 168, and then this next week when they do their weekly weigh-in, they're still 168, and they're like, nothing's changing. And they just don't keep track of the proper measurement tools, and they're not being as accurate as they can with it. So I always recommend when it comes down to having the proper stats, and this is everything, because if you're just going off of stats that aren't accurate and they're not keeping track of the right stuff, you're never going to have the proper data to make the right changes. So we calculate average weigh-ins for every client. So we actually have a spreadsheet where we put the numbers in, we keep the scale there at the same spot, the same time. We try to keep it consistent, and we calculate the average, and 99% of the time it's going down week after week as we're in a deficit. But this gives us proper data to make those changes, right? We take monthly photos so we can actually see how the physique's looking, and we also do measurements every month. We'll have our clients take measurements and submit it into the spreadsheet, and obviously a couple other things, but this alone can help you figure out if you're actually in a plateau when you actually have the right tools, instead of just waking up and feeling nothing's working, it's broken, I'm stuck, and having all these mindset beliefs, which a lot of people have. So make sure to figure out if you're actually in a plateau, and then we can start to apply some of these other tips. But this is a very important first number one, and I see a lot of people making this common mistake.
Yeah, and it gets memed a lot, but a lot of people say calorie deficits don't work for me. I'm in a deficit and I'm not losing weight. And this just isn't a fact. If you're in a deficit, you will be losing weight. That means your body's taking in less energy than it's putting out, hence why you will burn fat. So this is just CECO, calories in versus calories out. And you can achieve this by either burning more calories or eating less calories. So the biggest important thing here is that you actually understand this. You begin tracking your food. You have an understanding of what you're eating. And let's say I'm eating 3,000 calories, my weight's going up a pound a week, I'm in a surplus because I'm gaining weight on that 3,000. Whereas if I'm losing a pound a week, I'm on a deficit. Or if it's staying the same, I'm in and around my maintenance, and I can actually adjust those calories so I could drop down to 2,800, 2,600, whatever it may be, to achieve the level of a deficit I want, and then begin to adjust from there. Or I could keep eating 3,000 and improve my output and do more cardio to try to do that. The problem with that is that comes with more of an energy burn, fatigue, stress on your body, your system, and that's where it can be harder to actually outwork a bad diet. So the biggest thing will be actually beginning to have some kind of nutritional understanding. And I was just talking to Kyle like off air before this episode, but if you're not willing to track your calories, it's going to be very hard to consistently lose weight, because there'll be times where it's busy, you're eating healthy foods, you're making good decisions, there's less temptations. And then there'll be like weekends where there's events and parties and good food and all this different stuff, and you'll blow up if you just go off on feel. I really like tracking my calories because it really just makes it a science. It gives me full control to say, like, here's how much I should be eating. It takes, of course, it can't be 100% perfect, but it's as close as we can be to actively managing and controlling that. And it puts all the cards in my hand, right? It allows me to decide if I want to lose weight, gain weight, stay the same, to understand when I overate, how much I overate by. And it really just allows me to have the control to actually understand that I can be in a deficit. And generally, an easy way to break through a deficit is to decrease your calories. And it's hard to regulate that, like I said, if you aren't tracking, because a lot of people actually it's been shown in science, like through studies, people greatly underestimate how many calories they think they eat in a day. Even they've done things with like Chipotle bowls where people underestimate how many calories in their Chipotle bowls by like 50+%, which is crazy. And naturally we'll give ourselves like a default to the benefit, to where we think we're having less, to think we don't have as many bad days. But when you track it, the data's right there and you're like, oh my gosh, these last 3 Saturdays, I blew up my diet. This is what my problem is. So when you can just actually remove that ego and start tracking your calories, this is one of the easiest and best ways to break through that plateau.
Yeah, and like it sounds very simple, and the truth is it is, right? Like if you're someone who has a consistent way of eating and you take out like one snack that's 200 calories, like that can bring you into a bigger deficit. Like it doesn't have to be this crazy different approach where you just like completely change up your day. It's just slowly decreasing calories, and that's what we specialize in, is like finding the right numbers and helping our clients see change through calorie deficits and holding them accountable to that. But Josh did mention this number 3 as well, and it can be an okay tool. Like it's not my first step, and truthfully it would be kind of more so one of my last ones, but it can be just increasing movement. And this can come in a bunch of different ways. Like I would say the easiest way to think about it is just increasing your step count. Like I don't love looking at it as like, hey, go out and add in 3 to 5 different runs. And once again, it shouldn't be anything crazy, because that's where people struggle, is they feel like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm going to run 5 times a week now. Like maybe one run can be good and it can help you create a bigger deficit, but you also, like, I have to put some asterisks here. Like you have to be careful, because so many people will take this next step and say, I'm going to move more and I'm going to run, I'm going to do cardio. And then they end up eating more because they're hungry, because they're moving more. So you have to really be careful with this one. That's why I have to add that in. But the best way, and what I would say is, like, if you're used to doing 8,000 steps, increase it to 10,000. That's an extra 14,000 steps per week, which won't feel like you're doing anything crazy. Therefore, you're not going to want to eat a ton of extra food. It's just a little bit of extra movement, right? Parking a bit further, going on a little bit of an extra walk, taking the stairs, like simply increasing your output will help you in so many different ways. And once again, I just had to add some asterisks there. This is an amazing tool to use when used properly, and that's going to be number 3.
Yeah, that's a big part of Seco. And you actually could, I think people underestimate how good a physique they can have by lifting 5 days a week, doing 10,000 steps, and just eating to a position of being satisfied or just barely full and not stuffed. Like if you did that, like theoretically you could get away without tracking. I just think when it actually comes to, like I said, we give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. I think a good example is if anyone's ever looked through their credit card statement, you'd be like, I did pretty good. I didn't spend very much money. And then you see like all these little charts. Oh shoot, I forgot about this. And food's very much the same. And that's where tracking's really good, is it encompasses everything, every bite, every lick, every taste. So if you're like actively regulating, like I am for 10,000 steps, I'm able to eat a really good position of food. I'm able to train. I don't really have to do much cardio at all. And I can stay really, really lean, and it can be quite easy. So this, like having a baseline of this can be really good, especially if you are hyper sedentary. This can be a phenomenal tool. If you're a really active person, I wouldn't look to putting more energy here necessarily, but it's definitely something to consider. And then my best tip for like being in a plateau is having more self-belief and full commitment. Like if you're dieting and you're cutting, you got to cut, you got to stick to it. There's going to be moments where it's inconvenient. There's going to be moments where maybe you're going to miss out or have a smaller portion of something you want, or go to bed like a little bit hungry with like tolerable hunger, or maybe you'll want a snack and you won't have the calories for it. Even for me, like I'm just tightening up right now. And my wife made me a really awesome dinner. I loved it. It was super good. It was like this ground beef taco bowl. I already had a big portion. I was ready to have some more. And I put it all in. I had like 250 grams of lean ground beef. And obviously it's a lot of calories. And I was hoping to have 100 more grams, but I just didn't have the calories. And it is what it is. Like it's just something you need to do. Like you need to say, I care more than like having another delicious plate of this food about achieving my goals. And you just stack those small wins. And what was awesome is I was able to put it away and have that the next day for lunch as a leftover, which was absolutely great. So I think reframing this and understanding like, hey, maybe I'll have half a slice of cake. Maybe normally you like to have a massive slice, like being real with yourself, dialing down some portions, and also having self-belief. Like if you think it's really hard to diet, if you think it's impossible to navigate social situations, like immediately you're already shelling yourself up and setting yourself for failure. I really like the concept of like even just having some mantras in your head, like I'm a lean person, dieting is easy for me, eating healthy really is just something that isn't difficult, or I'm really good at eating healthy. If you say these things to yourself enough in these situations, or one of my favorites, I don't need it, you really start to believe it. And like once again, it sounds a little woo woo, but I assure you it's like super powerful. Like next time you're going to go eat some garbage at night, just say I don't need it, go brush your teeth and call her a night, and you'll feel so much better because of it. And when you're planning out your food in the day, say like I'm someone who hits my calories, right? Like, and just start to give yourself that self-belief. And like the more you believe you can do it, and then when you start to lose weight, like you're like, oh shoot, I can do it. Whereas if every couple of days you blow up your diet and you prove to yourself that you're not serious, that's when you really start to question whether you're actually capable of doing it, and you give in to temptation that much more.
Well, I'm so glad this was brought up, because I find the discussions I have, there's just so many of them where people will have that like negative approach and that thought process where their mindset's holding them back. Josh had a great example where he had said like some guys would be like, oh, I'm too old for this. Like, and even there's one gentleman who'd be like, hey, I'm too old, like getting leans for the young guys. And there's always these like mindset things holding people back, like causing them to be in plateaus. And it's crazy because like it may not seem like anything big, but the actions will follow what like your mind is thinking. And even some people will say, oh, I'm 35 now, my metabolism's gone down, or like I'm going through menopause, like I can't do it, or my hormones, or there's just always something. So you really have to believe it. And obviously when you see the results, like it's easier to believe it more. And like the truth is that's where our coaching does come in handy as well. As like when we take someone who has all these negative thoughts and who's struggled many times over, and we show them they have what it takes, like it's truly amazing. And if you want to learn more about our coaching as well, second link down below, just check out our website, submit an application, we'll get you guaranteed results. But the mindset is a powerful thing.
Yeah, and I'll just jump in quickly because we actually got a message yesterday. I was just answering some DMs on Instagram early. It's me, Kyle, answering, and she had said, oh, she implemented the advice. She's been training 5 days a week, tracking her calories, not really doing any excessive cardio, and she's been shredding fat while being post-menopause. And she said, hey, I'm an example out there that you can't just entertain that excuse of I can't lose weight because of menopause. And once again, situations like that are so hard. Like that's something I'll never understand. It is my utmost respect. Being pregnant, having a baby, navigating a life, being a busy dad, whatever it is, all these things are hard. But if you champion your excuses like so much, you're literally just shooting yourself in the foot. Like you're not even allowing yourself to succeed. And you think it feels good. It's like a fail-safe mechanism to be like, oh, I can't get in shape. That's for the young guys. But all you're saying to yourself is, it's not possible for me. I could never do this. And when you do that, like you're not even allowing yourself a chance to succeed. Like it sucks if you have these barriers in front of you, all, or maybe you're older, you have your own barriers, or you have two young kids at home, or whatever it is. But you just need to figure it out, right? You need to work, and don't like just use that excuse as a shield, because all you're really doing is shooting yourself in the foot and making it to where you can't succeed. And like just doing that might feel kind of good, but deep down, you know you want that progress. You know you're capable of it. You just got to put in a little extra effort, a little extra creativity, or really just make it work at the pace you're capable of going.
Yeah, absolutely. And next up, we're going to simply just talk about the accuracy and avoiding cheat days. So we're at this point where, let's say you are keeping track of your calories, you're doing some good movement, you're working out, but you're still not seeing that change. This step is something that most people miss out on. And it's honestly what I find a lot of people are struggling with. It's just being accurate. So simply put, like when I get to this point of a discussion with someone who maybe isn't actually seeing change, and I realize that they're not using measuring cups, they're eyeballing most of their portions, they're not tracking everything. Like, so for example, the coffee that you have, your cream, you have 40 calories of cream, 80 calories, whatever it is, they're not inputting that. They may have alcohol here and there that they don't track. Beverages, they're also not tracking. Like, you have to be accurate. I find that this alone could be a 400 to 500 calorie discrepancy that can 100% take you out of a deficit. It sounds crazy, and I know some people are thinking, oh, like I'm tracking everything, but you have to really be serious about it. Like, there will be some errors here and there. Like, that's totally fine. Like when you go out to eat, and once again, you can't be perfect, but using these principles, like if you go out to eat, overlog when in doubt, log some extra oil just in case. Like, all these things will make a really big difference. And even like on the topic of cheat meals, like we find that some people will say, oh, I'm good, trust me, like I'm in a deficit, and then every Sunday, boom, there's nothing logged in their spreadsheet, or like they just say, oh, for the weekend I'm not logging, and then boom, they're out of that deficit. So really enhancing your accuracy can make such a big difference. Like, it's been shown that you can be inaccurate up to like 60 to 70% just from like eyeballing things and not using measuring cups, and just like giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. And it's not easy, but like the truth is, this is how you get real results. So make sure to fix this, and I'm sure you can push through a plateau very simply from making these small changes.
So another thing you can do if you're really dialed in, you've got everything regulated, you're tracking, you're analyzing the data, and you're truly stuck. As you diet down, your body will actually unfortunately work against you. So it'll suppress key hormones like ghrelin and leptin, and that will gauge you to be hungrier with your food. That'll cause you to be less satisfied with your food and more hungry during the day rather. And it'll actively work against that because it doesn't want you to starve yourself to death and die. It doesn't know that you could get literally an infinite amount of food anywhere you go at any given time. You go on your phone and order something, you go to the grocery store. Your body doesn't know that. It's just like, hey, I'm losing fat, I'm dieting, and it will suppress those things to try to slow it down. So when this happens, there are some advanced tools you can do, and we do this with all of our clients: carb refeeds, diet breaks. Like, all these advanced tools will really carry a lot of weight. Reverse diets are another phenomenal tool. You can actually re-drive up your calories, replenish your hormones, and then perhaps revisit the desire to cut, or you can stay lean with more calories. But these are very situational, and they do require you to have great adherence and actually have some success in your diet. And usually this will happen as you get deeper in a diet. These tools can absolutely be amazing, amazing things that I use regularly to help my clients break through plateaus.
Yeah, and last but not least, this one's something I just feel the need to talk about. It's just simply trying to detach yourself from the scale if possible. So a lot of times people are just so ultra focused on it that like their fingers are crossed when they go to step on it. And if they don't hit a number, they have a bad day. And the truth is, it makes the journey a lot less enjoyable. So one of my biggest tips is trying to find non-scale victories that like you're looking forward to, and that you can also monitor. Like, it's not just the scale. And I know I talked about like measurements and photos and stuff at the very beginning, but the truth is, like, the journey should be something that you enjoy. And I know it's not exactly something that'll get you out of a plateau, but if you're less focused on just like scale, and like and then like even some people weigh in multiple times a day, I'm like, stop doing this. Like, you're not doing yourself a service here. Like, you're only hurting yourself. So I find our clients and most people get better results when they have other metrics that they're also paying attention to. Like I said, photos, but even strength related goals, like a consistency goal. Like, if you make a better decision and you decide to say no to a specific food, you have to reward yourself. Like you have to give yourself some credit. Sorry, not reward yourself, but celebrate these milestones. Make the journey more enjoyable. Don't just be super happy when you see one low weigh-in. Like, of course, give yourself some credit where credit's due. But I see a lot of people struggling with this, and I did want to just mention that as the final tip for today. So hopefully that helps you push past a plateau and just get the results that you're striving for. So many people struggle when it doesn't have to be that complicated. And like Josh said at the very beginning, if you want our free fat loss guide, which is very high level and can give you some tips and strategies to help you out, guaranteed, completely free, no strings attached, message us fat loss guide to Instagram at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. If you're ready to take the leap on your fitness journey, get guaranteed results, and work with Josh and myself one-on-one, second link down below just to fill out an application, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.